National Sports Authority. Winston, you were here. I was asking how upset, because if you look at all the infractions that we talked about, and we didn't even end the list. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And people are commenting on WhatsApp and also on X. I just want to share some of the messages with you guys. This one says, whatever is going on at the NSA is symptomatic of the whole government setup. And I'm totally shocked and embarrassed to be a Ghanaian this morning. This is going on under the government. This is only one agency. Multiplying this across 10 institutions, I cringe within. And that's Seram sending that message. Martin, who is at Rich in Accra, also says, Mamavi, this confirms the suspicion that the appointing authority is corrupt. Godwin in Kanda says, unless we fight and significantly defeat this multi-headed monster called corruption, we can never develop this nation. And here's another one from Kwesi, who is at Abuakwa in Kumasi, says, please, what the NSA boss is doing is nauseating. Look, the way this man is dissipating our resources and flouting our laws, and the president of Ghana is looking on. When the president mounts a public platform, he talks that citizens should be patriotic and sacrifice. Tell the president Ghanaians are fed up with the way he's managing the country. The sacrifice and patriotism must start from him, Akufo-Addo, and his appointees. And the messages keep coming. 0551111997. That's our WhatsApp number. Please add your voice to this, because it is one NSA director, Professor Peter Twumasi, who is overseeing all this rots at the National Sports Authority. And well, they say the problem is coming from the appointing authority, which is the presidency, because apparently the sports minister can't do anything about this. We're going to just remind you, because Fentio and Co have been talking about this issue for like forever.
Muftau is here. He's been doing a lot on it.
For many years.
A lot.
For many years.
And you see, the write-up that I was reading from Mamavi, you would realize that a lot of the things are, discussions or interviews that Muftau has even had with Professor Twumasi. Muftau, it's good that you've joined us. So you know the issues in detail.
Yeah.
When it comes to the missing, pickup.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When it comes to, payments that were not declared.
Yeah.
I mean, Liberia paying $10,000 to use the Accra Sports Stadium. You can't find it in any of their books. When it comes to, they getting clearance to employ 250 people. They interview less than 100 people, and then they even employ 45 people. Tell us about these things. What's happening at the National Sports Authority?
It's quite interesting, and sometimes I wonder if people are really paying attention to some of these government agencies, because I recall so well my conversation with Professor Peter Twumasi in September 2019 when the car got missing. He told me armed robbers attacked his driver and took away the car. Later, he said the car was parked at Owa's hotel, and thieves came and made away with the car. In fact, I still have his words of text here, where he said that robbers attacked the driver at the hotel and made away with the car. And then later he said, the car was stolen. It was reported to the police. I spoke to his driver as well. The driver gave an interesting narration. So let me just recall what the driver said.
Sure.
So the driver said that when they went to, they were playing the President Cup then. So they went to Kumasi for the President Cup. There was a gentleman who was ill, and this gentleman was related to Professor Peter Twumasi, and the gentleman was at Comfort Norton Teaching Hospital. So they were supposed to go and see the gentleman at the hospital. So they went to the hospital to see the guy, and they came back to retire in their hotel. At about 2 a.m. per the driver, someone came and called him and said that they were supposed to go back to the hospital and see the gentleman because his situation was getting worse. It was when he came out of the hotel around 2 a.m. that he realized that the car was not there. the car had disappeared.
Who had the car keys?
The driver had the car keys. He had his key, but the car was not there. But when I spoke to Prof, he said armed robbers attacked the driver and took away the car. So I remember so well speaking to the police in Twumasi. They told me they were investigating. I followed the story for 5-6 months, and it appears nothing was coming. I know some of these things, sometimes you follow it, you get fed up. So you allow it to go. But people had stories surrounding why the car disappeared. Again, I asked Prof whether the car was insured. He said the car was insured. Which insurance company? He couldn't tell me. He was not able to tell me which insurance company insured the car, because if the car was insured, we should know the insurance company that insured the car. I remember when he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, that was about a year or two ago. They asked me about the car. Was the car insured? He said yes. Which insurance company? He couldn't tell them the insurance company that insured the car. And one of the things that I also recall vividly around that time was the fact that vehicles that were meant for government agency were supposed to be registered with GV.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that car was never registered like that. In fact, I still have the car number and its details. It was an Arch pickup car here. So I don't know how far the police have gone with their investigations, because this is about 5 years old now.
Who registered the pickup?
The pickup, so the cars, there were 2 cars that were secured. They were secured by the then acting Deputy Director General, Majid Bawa. Because I remember one of the things I got around that time was the fact that there were no official cars for the leadership of the authority. So he was able to find these ways for them to bring the cars. So the cars came in at a time Prof 2 had come in.
Mm-hmm.
And when Prof was appointed the Director General, he was using one car and the other car was parked. Indeed, the Deputy Director General was not using it. So it was a car he was using that got stolen in Twumasi. And since then, they've not been able to recover the car.
I'm just wondering whether it was an official of the NSA who registered the vehicle but did not register it as a government vehicle.
That's an area that I think we should be asking the Deputy Director General of the NSA, Majid Bawa, because what I do remember was that he was the one who was able to get the cars.
Right. Okay.
And they were not registered GV. They were registered in just like in a private car.
Okay.
And that's how the cars got missing. I don't know if Majid is listening and he's willing to speak. I don't know if we can just get him on the phone and he might be able to.
Anyway,
to tell some more.
back to the narration.
Okay, so the police were not able to tell me anything. That's what happened. We don't know the company that insured the car. We don't know if, and in fact, some staff of the National Sports Authority actually petitioned the OSP. I know the OSP was petitioned. I know Shraj was also petitioned. I know the Office of the President too was also petitioned. And some of these petitions actually contained a lot, ranging from charging employees to go for medical tests at 2 facilities, STC clinic in Twumasi and in Accra, to pay 400 Ghana cedis each. I remember writing to the clinic and they told me they had a partnership with the NSA, so that's why they were engaged too. But one of the things I remember, the petition, I don't know if I can pull it, the petition is here, where this was a petition that was sent to Yoko. And a portion of it said that the NSA, an agency under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, recently had government intervention through a financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance to recruit 250 young Ghanaian men and women to augment its workforce. Without management approval, each applicant was directed by the Director General to only submit a medical report from STC Clinic, a facility located inside STC Yard, Accra, which charged each applicant 400 Ghana cedis. This is against the Public Services Statutes, which guarantees the freedom of successful job applicants to access any government-approved health facility across the country for medical examination.
Yeah.
This was a petition to UOCO. It was sent on 12th April 2022. They said, Madam, it is a concern of many that this matter is thoroughly investigated and necessary actions taken, not excluding an appropriate refund to the applicants if found to be exorbitant, among other concerns surrounding the recruitment service. And the other concerns they were talking about was the fact that you advertise on the National Daily that you are going to recruit people. They interviewed only 97 people.
How many were they supposed to recruit?
250.
Okay.
I remember about 1,003 or 1,000 plus applied. They were supposed to recruit 250. They interviewed only 97. And 45 were employed.
So what happened to the remaining 205 were supposed to be employed?
Okay, so the interesting thing was that there were claims that some people in certain offices were going to bring in their people. So Winston, bring one person. Fentu, bring one person. Kojo, bring one person. To come and occupy
The
some
remaining
of the
slots.
The remaining slots.
205 of them.
It would interest you to know. I don't know whether if some of the people would be happy if I mention. But it would interest you to know that even board members could not get their people employed. Board members of the National Sports Authority could not get their people employed. And they actually even had lots of reservations about the fact that, in fact, if I read the text message, they will know the person who sent me the text message, so I will not read the text message. She was sent a text message to pay 10,000 Ghana cedis for two of her brothers to be recruited.
10,000 Ghana cedis?
Yeah, for two of her brothers to be recruited.
That's 5,000.
Yes, for each.
Can you tell us who she claims sent her this text?
No. If it is a woman herself who sent the text. I can just pull up the text.
No, what I mean is she said she was asked to pay this amount.
Yes.
Right?
She was
by who?
She said she was asked by the Director General to make the payment.
Okay.
Yes. So she made that payment. They got their appointment letter. She refused to pay the rest of the money. She didn't pay the rest of the money. And Fentio will remember this vividly. I recall the one conversation that we had about this National Sports Authority where they gave a contract to one Mom and Sons to provide hampers. 500 Ghana cedis per each hamper. And they told a woman that, in fact, she's even now we talk often. They told a woman that they were going to pay her the money within the shortest possible time. So she shouldn't worry about a contract to be signed between the two parties because they were going to give her money. 5 months on, the money was not paid. So she started chasing her money. One day, she went to the office of the Director General who said he should go to the accountant. She went to the accountant. In fact, the woman sent me all the stuff. I still have them here. She went to the accountant, and the accountant said they didn't have any contract with her to deliver any hampers. The company they had a contract with is Bobina Solutions. Bobina Solutions belongs to Efia Sribo, who was the secretary of Professor Peter Twumasi.
Wow.
The Director General. I called Efia. I called her on the phone and asked her. I told her this is the information I have. She got angry and said, if I want any clarity, I should go to the procurement officer and not her. And cut the call. So I got to the procurement officer. Emmanuel Twumasi claims that he's a cousin of Professor Twumasi. That I don't know sanctity. So I got in touch with Emmanuel. Emmanuel indeed confirmed that, yes, the authority had engaged Mom and Sons to provide them hampers. But they were trying to revise or renegotiate the price. So she was supposed to be paid 25,000 Ghana cedis. But the details at the accountant was 41,000 Ghana cedis, and a part payment of 15,000 Ghana cedis had already been made to Bobina Solutions, but even a penny was not paid to Mom and Sons, the company that actually provided the hampers.
So Bobina didn't actually provide hampers, but they got paid.
She didn't even sign in. She didn't she was not the person engaged to, or the company engaged to provide the stuff.
But she was paid for this.
Yeah, she took 15,000 part payment because they said they were going to pay 41,000 Ghana cedis for the 50 hampers to Bobina Solutions. So Bobina Solutions would also in turn pay Mom and Sons. So they tried to convince the woman that she should accept. So they will pay the money through Mom and Bobina Solutions. So she will also get her money. And the woman refused. She petitioned Yoko. The investigations were not flying to her satisfaction. So she decided to make it a police case. So a fierce report was picked up by the Legon police. The next day, Professor Peter Twumasi himself was picked up by the Legon police. That was where they had a gentleman agreement for the money to be paid. So the bigger question everyone was asking is,
even before you go on, emphasize the fact that while in office as Director General, Peter Twumasi was arrested. That's what Muftau is saying.
Yeah,
for fraud.
He was arrested.
To emphasize this.
In fact,
or alleged fraud.
I've already made a note of it because it's one of the things I want to bring up in the summary.
Oh, yes.
Please continue.
In fact, I remember people were asking, Muftau, how did you get pictures of Professor Twumasi writing his police statement and all that? Because it's not permitted and all that. Oh, but I had it. I got the pictures. In fact, we did the story, right? We did the story. So it's quite interesting. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's difficult. Some of these things are very difficult. How the regional office of the National Sports Authority moved from Accra to Tema, it's a different story on its own.
What is the story?
Ghana Gas is part of that story. And Ghana Gas was a company, the boss of Ghana Gas happened to be the boss of Ghana Hockey. Right. So they said they were going to renovate the Tama Sports Stadium. Like they will renovate some part of it. And some of the figures that were mentioned, Kojo, if you hear, you will scream.
So mention.
They were buying sofas for 250,000 and so far and care. So far. But they did. They moved the NSA office in Accra to Tema and put Ghana Hockey Federation at the hockey pitch at the Tudio Soko. More, the NSA is the agency that's supposed to handle these facilities and maintain these facilities. However, some of the things, because I do not have documents, just want to speak to those I have documents to.
Yeah.
Some of the things, because I do not have documents to them and they were hearsay, I don't
so
want
leave
to touch
those
it.
behind.
Leave those ones.
I'll just need to leave those ones. But Charlie,
Okay.
So
Listen, there's one other thing Muftau has left out in the conversation. A very important aspect of what happened. A very important aspect of what happened, especially at the Public Accounts Committee. And I want to remind Muftau to tell that story about why payments for the concerts that were held throughout the festive period were diverted to accounts in Kumasi instead of the central account that the NSA owns. So in other words, in December, the NSA closed the stadium to sporting activities in order to hold social activities. During that period, all the checks that the NFA received for that, they didn't take it to their central account, instead took it to Kumasi. And there's a reason for that.
Okay, so this is the reason. Since Professor Peter Twumasi became the Director General of the National Sports Authority, they've never paid withholding tax to the GRA. So they owe the GRA about 15.5 million Ghana cedis.
In withholding tax.
Withholding tax.
Which means this is tax they actually took, withheld, and didn't pay to the GRA.
Yeah. So, so the GRA secured a Ghana order, wrote to the Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana also in turn wrote to the National Sports Authority to tell them that your account ABC has been garnished. We got a letter from the Ghana Revenue Authority. The NSA had only 109,000 Ghana cedis in that account. So all the monies they made in the month because the order went to the NSA, if I remember correctly, somewhere 17th November 2023. So all the monies they made during the festive period, they had to divert the money to their Ashanti regional account.
Hold on a minute. And talking about monies made during the festive period, let's just bring you what transpired at the Public Accounts Committee, okay? It's important we actually bring to you what happened at the Public Accounts Committee because, like we all do know, Professor Twumasi has been there. And, Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, he confronted him on whether or not the 70,000 cedis paid by Stone Boys Company to use the Accra Stadium was enough to repair the damages done. We'll bring you that whole thing because Professor Twumasi says 70,000 was paid, and you would hear Stone Boys manager saying they paid, I think, 169,000 Ghana cedis.
Director General, I asked you a specific question last year when you came here. Do you have pitch covers? You said yes. You know this. You know all of this technical stuff. Yet you decided to suspend sporting activities without consulting your minister or your board to do a social activity, and then said it took 4 days to set up. Now, Bennington Group paid you 70,000 Ghana cedis. Is the 70,000 Ghana cedis enough to restore the damage that was done to the grass at the Accra Sports Stadium?
The usage of the sports stadium is a multi-purpose.
Post the event, I have now gotten the contract that the NSA signed with the Bennington Music Group. And I've gotten receipts of payment that the Bennington Music Group paid to the NSA for the fifth dimension. It wasn't 70,000. It was 169,000.
But what I can tell you clearly is that, yes, I was delegated by Stone to lead the charge in terms of doing the negotiations and payment of the stadium. And I can also tell you for the fact that, yes, we paid more than 70,000 for the stadium.
National Sports Authority, there's a lot of rot over there. Rot. Vodafone, Ghana, they owed you 18,900. And the CCMI, Pastor Aziz, they owed you 2,250. And you sat down for this regional head to write it off without permission.
And so you heard first Sam George, Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram. And then you also heard from Chief Styles, who's Stone Boys manager, and then Samuel Atamils, who's Vice Chairman of the committee. But I think we can now hear from the Chairman of the committee, that's James Kluche Aveji.
Honorable members, the Director General took instruction from the Minister to transfer Mr. Tieku. He wrote a letter to Mr. Tieku transferring him. He made a heading, transfer to head office, intentionally put in the letter, the body of the letter, transfer to Eastern Region. He went behind that letter and spoke to Mr. Tieku not to honor the transfer. So that's a complete disrespect to the minister. Now, this committee, I think our position is that Mr. Tieku should move immediately to Eastern Region. And Director General, this committee is directing you to ensure that Mr. Tieku is moved to where you are transferring him. Do that immediately and report back to us.
Well, so that's the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Kluche Aveji. Thank you. You give us the backstory to all of this.
All right. Let's look at a few of these messages that have been coming through. You've been posting on X. And you have a few, Winston?
Yes, what Kofi Benjamin says, if proven to be true, then we apply the corruption laws in the country. As simple as that. And Atapia Kobna says he should be investigated. And if he falls foul, must be made to face the full rigors of the law. At Bon_Sue says he's not the only one. The entire staff under his administration must be investigated. The only country where people confidently steal are buying Sika red-handed, and so you better committee the anum tea ni brodo, and nothing happens at the end.
Proper bass.
I see. So the only country where people steal are buying Sika red-handed, And so you better committee, the anum tea, ni brodo, and nothing happens. At the end, anyway. This one's from Tony Nkoforidia says, I feel like throwing out listening to the rot this man has engaged in. He needs to be arrested and imprisoned if found guilty, and his assets confiscated. What a country. At Don Hosty says he should be sacked. Apparently he has a track record of these scandalous acts. And at Mike Legend says nothing will be done to him. This is Ghana. In any proper jurisdiction, he'll be picked out right from the committee. Charlie, leave us alone. And Mayor of Owerri says, in fact, nothing will be done. Our leaders need to be sworn by the sword in Nogokbo. Julius Ntema says, as for Ghana, our problems boil down to poor leadership, corruption, ignorance, and apathy of the general populace. Our leaders will continue to act with impunity as laws are not enforced. Fentio, you want to give us the back story to all of this?
And if, just before Fentio comes in, one of the state institutions that was also petitioned was, is it state interest sometimes? They call them SIGA.
SIGA, yes, state interest.
Yeah, they were also petitioned. Yeah,
yes.
they were also petitioned. Yeah.
Well, so apart from all the other issues and the allegations of corruption and fraud and all these things that happening at the NSA, there's also the glaring issue of complete disregard for authority and the undermining of his boss. So the Director General, Peter Twumasi, has been fingered in such acts that continuously he disregards directives from the Minister of Youth and Sports, who is supposed to be his boss, because the NSA is an agency under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, which is supervised by the sector minister, Mr. Mustafa Yusuf. And one such incident came to light at the Public Accounts Committee, where the Central Regional Director of Sport, or the NSA's director in the Central Region, Mr. Alexander Tieku, was suspended or ordered to be suspended by the sports minister. So the story goes that the sports minister had asked someone from Right to Dream Academy to go to the Cape Coast Sports Stadium to help with the restoration of the pitch, because he had made a trip to the Right to Dream Academy and saw how good their pitches were, and then he saw the gentleman that was in charge of them and thought he could help. So he asked him, and at that time they needed to restore the Cape Coast Sports Stadium pitch to be used for football. So he asked him to go to the Central Region and help out. Now, according to the Tieku man, nobody told him that someone was coming. And so when the gentleman got there, he was denied access. So minister sent someone, he went there, and the Central Regional Director sacked him and told him not to come there. But so the gentleman called the minister, and the minister then called the Director General to inform him that this is what had happened and that the gentleman was sent there on his authority. But nobody knows the conversation that went on between the Director General and his Central Regional Director. But bottom line, the gentleman was asked to go back to Accra and he was denied access, despite the minister belatedly intervening and informing them that the gentleman was there on his authority. So obviously that upset the minister, because even if he didn't pre-inform, at least he had the time to now inform you about what was happening. So he convened a meeting, called the Director General into the meeting. Chief Director was there as well, and he put on the table what exactly transpired. And he said the gentleman in the Central Region disrespected him and ordered for him to be transferred after all disciplinary proceedings were done. Now, the transfer letter was written by the NSA boss, Professor Peter Twumasi, transferring this gentleman from Central Region to the Eastern Region. But apparently, the content of the letter also differs from the headline in the letter. The headline said transfer to head office. The content said you're being transferred to the Eastern Region. So when the Tieku came to the committee, he told the committee that the letter was confusing, so he didn't know where to go. Now, but it was uncovered upon further questioning then that the gentleman was asked to stay put by the Director General, who had written the conflicting letter transferring him to two places at the same time. So the DG wrote the letter transferring the gentleman, then called the gentleman, Mr. Teku, and told him, you see the letter I've written, don't mind the letter. Stay there. Stay in the central region, don't go anywhere.
Wow.
So the gentleman stayed put and didn't go anywhere. So at the committee, he was confronted, and the vice chairman actually said that, not the vice chairman, actually one of the committee members actually said, Honorable Dafiamapo, said that what he has done means that he has not been at post for the past 1 year, because officially you had been transferred.
Exactly.
And then he said, oh, yes, it's true, but I only stayed put after conversations with my DG. And he said, were you hired upon conversations with your DG, or were you hired with a letter?
Yeah.
So why would the same letter transferring you? So officially, you're not even supposed to be in Cape Coast. And he asked him, so who has been validating your salary? He says he's Central Regional Director now. So he validates his own salary.
My goodness.
So in other words, he really should not have been there. So the committee came to a conclusion that the Director General completely disrespected the minister by writing the letter and then telling the gentleman by word of mouth not to honor the contents of the letter. So the committee recommended right there and then on Monday that the gentleman be made to immediately deploy to the eastern region.
I have let me just back what Fentio had just said, something small. So there was a board meeting at Aqua Safari, right? You remember that story so well, yeah. And around that time, Prof Chinetu had closed the Accra Sports Stadium to sporting activities for other social concerns.
When was this?
Oh, this was in 2022, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's 2021. The board had just been constituted. They had a retreat in Aqua Safari, and he closed the stadium. The board said, we are hearing media reports that you've closed the stadium. He said, no, the media reports are false. The meeting was on a Saturday. The following Monday, a bank came and mounted their stage for their events. So the minister said, you told us the stadium has not been rented out to anyone. Why are these people setting up? Go and tell them to take away their stuff. He couldn't go and tell them people to stop. So you look at your board members straight in the face and tell them something different. And in fact, this very committee, he appeared before the committee about a year ago and told them that he has pitch covers. Where are the pitch covers? No one can tell where the pitch covers are. And I recall this one very well. It was Isaac Esiama who had asked the National Sports Authority to buy pitch covers so that when they rent out the facility, they cover the grasses so that the event will not destroy the grasses. It was one of the brilliant things Isaac Esiama gave to this gentleman. Unfortunately, it was never done. And as we speak, they do not have the pitch covers. One of the things he uses to cover himself is the fact that even both NDC and NPP come and rent the facility and they use it.
What's that got to do with the grass being
That's
destroyed?
the point.
Okay, so this is what I am surmising from this wealth of shocking information that the two of you have shared. In 2019, Professor Twumasi was made Director General of the NSA.
Yes.
Since he's been in office, a vehicle has disappeared.
Yes.
There has been a recruitment scam. There have been procurement scams.
Yeah.
There have been financial irregularities with money being paid into wrong accounts and all that. There's been tax evasion.
Yeah.
There has been, in fact, under reporting, under declaration of payments, there has been mismanagement of sports facilities. He has been arrested.
Yeah.
He has been reported to the special prosecutor, Shraj Iyoko.
Yes. Office of the President.
Office of the President.
Facing 3 lawsuits.
Ghana Police. There are 3 lawsuits against him. And he is still Director General of the National Sports Authority. Why?
Meanwhile,
wait. Are they afraid of him?
I don't think they are afraid of him. I think they just a political will.
Where is he getting this immunity from?
Maybe
That's what I was about to say. That
I don't know if
meanwhile, his
Fentio will want
predecessor-
to put that on record. I don't know.
Meanwhile, his predecessor was suspended and never came back into office
After the
following
Commonwealth-
Australia Commonwealth visa scandal.
Yeah.
That's the one he replaced. That one incident was enough to get Mr. Robert Safo Mensah out of office.
Yeah.
That was it.
And this guy has superintended over all of these accusations, all of these
There are facts, petitions.
scandals.
So if you don't have the fact, how do you petition the OSP? How do you petition Scratch? How do you petition the office of the president?
But the OSP too, what has it been doing? What has Ioko been doing? What has Shraj been doing? Are they all afraid of him too? What has the police been? No. The level of absurdity here is
It's
phenomenal.
incomprehensible.
In fact, Park itself,
Yeah.
this guy appeared before you last year
And lied.
couldn't explain himself. And he's back this year.
Yeah.
He is still DG, coming to face the same, and you are asking him the same questions, revealing the same problems. So it's like no institution can check this guy.
Maybe he has a very powerful God.
He is still no. I mean, maybe there's no leader in this country. Who appointed him?
Even his appointment was also very controversial, Kojo. First, the letter was signed by the secretary to the president. Second, it was signed by chief of staff. They kept changing the heading, the body. It was nyama like that. Even his appointment was nyama.
Now, Kojo, one of the other things that we didn't mention here is the fact that while this is happening at the head office, the roads that he's also supervising at the various regional offices, it's unprecedented. There is the example of the Northern Regional Director of Sports, the NSA Director in the Northern region. Her name is Salamatu Al-Hassan.
Oh, okay.
And what's her story?
The name resonates. So I first reported this somewhere 2018 when I was with
Mustafa, before you
former
go
employer.
on, this woman's arrest was ordered by PAC on Monday. She's still not been arrested, and that's the point you're making. During the sitting on Monday, the PAC said the police should pick her up.
And she's still
And
walking
as
around.
we speak, today is Wednesday. So now when Muftau goes into the background of the scandal she has been involved in, now you understand why the police haven't touched her yet. If they didn't touch her then, it's not going to be now.
Muftau.
So, Kojo, in 2018, this was somewhere August, I got information that about 68,000 Ghana cedis, or even more, had been paid to this woman and it never went into the NSA account in the region. She had also allegedly taken money from some local Hajj in her personal account. I remember so well when I was following up this story. It was around October thereabout that the Auditor General actually confirmed this. And let me read a portion of what the Auditor General said then. They said, in carrying out a review of your work as a regional director of the authority in Tamale from January to October 2018, it has come to our notice that you have collected revenue totaling 68,382 Ghana cedis, but failed to pay the said amount into the authority's account in clear violation of Section 18 of the Financial Administration Regulation of 2003. The letter, it went on to say that the regional director, as a matter of urgency, should also refund 10,000 Ghana cedis paid into her personal account by the local Hajj committee to the authorities' account without delay. He said, you are by this letter instructed to refund the money into the official account with immediate effect and submit the bank payslip to the head office for verification within 2 weeks. This same woman, 6 years on, is still the regional director for the National Sports Authority in Tamale. This same woman, per the Public Accounts Committee chairman, James Kluchu-Aveji, has allegedly embezzled over 160,000 Ghana cedis. 6 years ago, I reported this. 6 years on, the money has now doubled or even tripled.
Did she even pay back the original amount?
I don't
after
know.
all these letters?
I don't know. I've been trying to reach her for a while now without success. So I really don't know whether if she actually returned the other money. So
What manner of joke is this?
yeah.
So who is there any authority in this government?
I think the
How can you
authority.
appoint someone and have no authority over them?
And
You know what?
on top of that, even just last year, around April 2023, the Aliyu Muhammad Stadium was disconnected from the national grid over a 466,000 Ghana cedi debt. That woman is the one that supervises that facility.
She's not been paying her light bills too.
No, 466,000 is how much the Aliyu Muhammad Stadium owes ECG in electricity bills. And yet, there you go, PAC says she has embezzled funds to the tune of over 100,000 Ghana cedis. She's been asked to be arrested. She's still walking about freely.
Listen, let's take some messages. When we come back, we'll open the phone lines. Now, this one, if you leave it to us, today is the day that...
Someone said Ghana cannot stress me.
Me, Mom, I don't understand. But maybe you do. Call us 0302 216 541 or 055 1111 997. After missing trucks, after recruitment scams, after tax evasion, after under-reporting income, after mismanaging facilities, after an arrest, an actual arrest for fraud. After all this, Professor Twumasi remains Director General of the National Sports Authority. Please, if you understand, help us. Benjamin is in Adenta. Hi, Benjamin. It's been a while. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kojo. How are you?
Not bad at all. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, and good to hear from you. These days, you guys don't open the phone lines. You talk. So you don't give us opportunity.
Well, today we can hear from you.
Yeah, but you guys should be giving us opportunity to talk.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a good thing that are discussing today, departing from your previous discussions, because we don't hear of you talking about national issues as you used to do back in the days. But it's good you guys are back on track. Lots of corruption in this republic. And I have been advocating that the Special Prosecutor's Office should be scrapped. Because you guys have this. Auditor General has this information. With all the resources, they claim they don't have money. All the resources, all the investigators, all the lawyers that they have, and the amount of money they pay to those people, still they are unable to understand this, to get this. Auditor General has this. Don't they have the report? Don't they read the report? Should we go and report this to the Special Prosecutor? He has now become an office that is what I call a referral office, referring issues to Iyoko when he could have dealt with them. And he always engages in theatricals. I think we should do a whole program on the Special Prosecutor's Office. I don't know if you guys are scared of him or what, or he's your friend. I don't understand. Because that office is just wasting our money. So far, after 2 years of being in office, nothing is done. Martin Amidu resigned. Yes, he didn't want, because he knew very well there's nothing that can be done. He resigned. That office should be scrapped. Otherwise, look at the quantum, the amount of money that an individual has embezzled, and this guy is a professor taking double salary, okay? Until KNUST stood up and said no. So all of this information, the Iyoko doesn't have it. Special Prosecutor Office doesn't have it. And even he transferred this first issue to Iyoko. Journalists, why are we not hearing from you, Kojo? This is a question to you. What happened? What happened to the money after defreezing the account? Is Iyoko following up on that? If all of these things are happening, then people like Professor Twumasi will say, oh, okay, fine. I mean, there are no laws. We live in a jungle. Therefore, you shouldn't be surprised with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. And maybe you should listen to us a bit more, because all the things you're talking about, we deal with them here on this show and on this station. Isaac is in Legon. I'll ask for each of you to, limit your remarks to about 30 seconds if you can, so we can take as many calls as possible. Hi, Isaac. Good morning.
No problem.
Long time. How's
my
everything?
regards to my neighbor, the ancestor.
Aha.
Good morning,
In fact,
James.
I can tell you that this is just a tip of the iceberg. If you investigate most government agencies, you will see that this is nothing, 11 KY. I tell you, people are taking our money like you are fetching water from the public tap. You see, because our politicians are corrupt, now the public servants are also doing it without thinking. That is why Ghana is suffering, and especially our sports is suffering. We need to do something. All these people have to be jailed. How can a whole professor? At least you have learned. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Isaac. Let's go to North Legon. Hi, Felix. Hello, Felix. Do we have Felix on the line from North Legon? I think we may have lost Felix. What about Dominic? Hello, Dominic.
Hello, Kojo.
Aha, my brother.
Kojo,
how are you?
I am beyond shocked. Kojo, are you sure Ghana is a real? Is Ghana real, or it's a simulation? It's some sort of video game that we are playing called Ghana. Because Kojo, you see, the children or the teenagers, they have a game called Grand Theft Auto, okay, that they play.
Yes.
When you are in this game and you have such charges against you, okay, you will be on something that they call 5-star. And the whole army in the game will be looking for you. The whole army of that simulated world will be looking for you. How can you have all these charges against you and you will be occupying this position? And we have a president in this country who's watching you. Hey! This is why I'm shocked though. Is Ghana real? Is Ghana real? Because I'm not even joking. Like, is it a real country? Kujo, I am beyond shocked. I can't be. Kujo, I'm not sure this country is real. We are in some simulation or something. Because Kujo, this is not possible.
Dominic, maybe we are in the Matrix. Ken is in Achimota. Hi, Ken. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Kujo. Hi. Good morning to your panelists in the studio.
Yes.
Kojo, you see the reason why I always say it's annoying to pay taxes in this country. And then it is also annoying to pay this 15% levy or whatever it is on ECG. I mean, this country, seriously, I just don't know. Like you rightly said earlier on, is there a leader in this country? No, I'm asking. Somebody should tell me something. Is there a leader in this country? Or do we have a president in this country?
Well,
good day.
Thank you for calling us. Maybe we have time for one more call. It's Bishop from Asante Mampong. Hi, Bishop.
Hi, Kojo. How are you?
Not bad, my brother.
Kojo.
Yes, sir.
AFRC came trying to stop this within the military. It didn't work. PNDC came trying to extend it to civilian population. They did about 19 years or so before the constitutional government came. And we thought people would have learned their lessons. These things are still happening. Do we want Jesus Christ to come and tell us that these things are not good? When we are talking about one thing of corruption, one case of corruption, alleged corruption, let me put it that way, and that one is trying to die down, then another will come. I think if we work hard and all try to minimize corruption, I'm using the word minimize corruption, I think we don't need to go to IMF. The leakages are too much, too corruption.
Yeah.
And we have to work at it. Ghana has to stand up, and Ghana has to work again. We shouldn't do so. We should think that something can be done to correct these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Thanks to all of you who called. Ken, Dominic, Felix. Isaac and Benjamin. I mean, this thing there, honestly, I feel as if I should be prevented from speaking on this one.